So tonight, Manchester United face Chelsea at Old Trafford in the Premier League, although not that you would know about it. No one seems to be talking about this game at all because of all of the off-the-pitch matters currently surrounding the football club. However, today I thought we would actually, focus on the football side of things. People seem to have forgotten there's also stuff which happens on the pitch, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to start off actually with Chelsea and how I think they might approach the game as the away team and some of the things that they might do. So let's go over to the tactical board and have a look. For example, when playing out from the back, Chelsea will, they will look to play out from the back. They will use their goalkeeper. They will play the ball short. I'm not expecting a ton of long balls early on from Chelsea. Both of the centre-backs will drop deep either side of the goalkeeper, and then expect one of Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez dropping all the way into the penalty area to help out. At times there will be 3 or 4 players in their penalty area when they're trying to build the ball from the back. What we will also see at times once they have moved the ball through this initial part is that Colwill will push forward down left back, and then Enzo Fernandez will drop into more of a left back position to provide greater press resistance basically in these deeper areas. So that is certainly a theme we could see from Chelsea. Something else we could see is that higher up the pitch they could look to build possession in a 2-3 shape, with the fullbacks being split a little bit wider, Caicedo holding it down in the middle, and of course the 2 centre-backs once again, with Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer pushing a little bit higher up the pitch. Now, typically in recent weeks this would have been Gallagher, however he is suspended after the 2 yellow cards at the weekend. So this will probably be their shape in possession, Mudryk and Sterling on the wings. However, whilst it will start off as a 2-3 shape, Enzo Fernandez is more than capable of dropping in as the connection point for the side. So at times it'll be more of a 2-4 shape like this, at times it'll be a 2-3 shape like this. So those are certainly some of the things that United need to be aware of. In terms of further up the pitch, Raheem Sterling is one of the most in-form wingers in the league this season in my opinion, certainly one of the best dribblers, and Mudryk down the other side offers a lot of pace and trickery. In terms of Jackson up top, he hasn't had the greatest start to life at Chelsea, but I still think there's a really good player there. I think he's got a really good solid technical pace, and is another player which will trouble Manchester United. And then finally, Cole Palmer, having a really good season at Chelsea, didn't start at the weekend, but he'll be looking to take his chance in this game in a more central area, looking to provide creativity, taking hold of the game in the middle of the park. So those are things that United need to look out for. In terms of out of possession, Chelsea are a bit more unpredictable because they often set up in several different ways. I'm expecting a high press. I think they will be pressing quite high up the pitch, and it will most likely be in a 4-1-4-1 shape like we've got here. Although again, one of the midfielders is given a license at times to step out and apply pressure higher up the pitch, and now shift to more of a 4-4-2. So Chelsea will be looking to apply pressure nice and high up the pitch. In terms of in deeper areas defensively, there's no real obvious weakness in the Chelsea side, apart from perhaps the fact that Levi Colwill, whilst he is a brilliant player, he isn't a fullback. He isn't a traditional fullback who likes defending these wide positions, so perhaps there's something you can get at there. But Chelsea certainly come into this game with, a bit of confidence after beating Brighton at the weekend. I think they've got a good side. I think Pochettino's a good manager, so there is plenty there for United to look at. So what can Ten Hag do to combat that, and how should he set up?
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
So in terms of for Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United, we're going to start off with the defensive side of things, because that's where currently I have my bigger concerns. And my main concern is that recently United have tried to press high. There's been a man-to-man press in midfield, although Ten Hag denies that, but there has been, and it's led to problems for United. In terms of when Chelsea are trying to move the ball out from the back, particularly with Enzo Fernandez dropping in here, United shouldn't be trying to press this simply because I don't think our press is actually good enough. Instead, United should focus on marking spaces and zones rather than players. So we don't need a man-to-man press. Instead, drop off into more of a 4-4-2 shape. Let's get Højlund and Bruno Fernandes on Caicedo, drop Garnacho a little bit deeper, the same with Antony on this side. Of course, we could see Rashford in this position. I'm just perhaps predicting a little bit of change in the 11. But let's let Chelsea have the ball in these situations. There is no need to constantly be pressing high. Like I said, mark the space and the zones in this central area of the pitch rather than going and man-marking the Chelsea players. So let's just keep this 2 in here on Caicedo. Don't let them through there. But keep this centre of the pitch nice and compact. If Enzo Fernandez, let's say Badiashile's got the ball. If Enzo Fernandez wants to drop into this position and get it, Amrabat doesn't need to follow him all the way out there. It just doesn't need to happen. Just stay in this position and be compact and keep your shape. That's something which United really need to do. I also think starting Wan-Bissaka to deal with Mudryk could be a good strategy, and it's also why for now I've gone Luke Shaw at left back up against Sterling, because again I think Sterling's one of the most informed players in the Premier League, so you start your best left back against him. Although there is an argument for Luke Shaw playing centre back. If you want to continue that argument, join the live stream this afternoon. We're going to break this game down a little bit more, go through starting 11s, etc. So make sure to join in for the live stream. But I think out of possession, that is the strategy for United. Get Anthony and Garnacho in the side, two hard-working wingers who will come back towards their own goal and put a shift in. Get Kobbie Mainoo and Sofian Amrabat in the double pivot to provide that bit of athleticism, physicality, but ability to cover the pitch, to twist and turn with Kobbie Mainoo. And then, like I said, get this front two not being overly aggressive, just kind of containing the centre of the park. And I think United could see a better defensive display. Of course, the defensive side of the game is incredibly important, but ultimately for United to actually win this game, they need to score some goals. So we need to focus on the in-possession shape, structure, philosophy, all of that good stuff. And mainly why I think Sofian Amrabat and Kobbie Mainoo could be the two most important players for Manchester United in this game, and why I think the two of them need to start alongside each other. Now, we'll come on to that in a second. First of all, what United need to do is drop their centre-backs wider either side of the goalkeeper. Recently, we've seen one of the centre-backs passing the goal kick short to the keeper with Onana. I don't think we need to see that in this game. Instead, push Lindelof and Maguire nice and wide. Create this wide back three when trying to build out from the back. Then we get our double pivot of Sofian Amrabat and Kobbie Mainoo dropping in and keep Shaw and Wan-Bissaka nice and wide. What this is going to do initially is provide much more triangles in deeper areas. This is why we're starting Kobbie Mainoo and Sofian Amrabat. When we play just one of them, there is far too much room in here for the solo pivot to cover. It's ridiculous the amount of ground they have to cover in these areas. So why not start the both of them deeper and provide greater triangles? We've got a triangle here, we've got a triangle here, triangle here, triangle here. There's triangles all over the shop, allowing United to play out from the back. Also, it provides greater opportunity to use Onana, because rather than just having one passing angle into the midfield, when we only play a solo pivot, now he's going to have two passing angles. So even if Chelsea do commit nice and high to the press, even if they do go all the way and really try and squeeze United, United theoretically should have more players in these deeper areas. And I think the important thing is going to be here about being patient and being brave and being bold on the ball. So just because Chelsea press once, and perhaps even if Chelsea win the ball high up the pitch, it doesn't mean that United need to turn this into a game where we just go long ball constantly. Get the ball on the floor and try to play out from the back. I know we haven't got Lisandro Martinez, and I know that is a big miss in the side. But ultimately, there are players here which are capable of playing out from the back, and Ten Hag needs to get that from this side, and I think it's vitally important. And again, it's why I would go for Kobbie Mainoo and Sofian Amrabat in the middle there to get a foot on the ball and to slow it down a little bit. Of course, there is the argument for starting Luke Shaw at left centre-back to aid this also. That is something that we could look into again in this afternoon's live stream, so make sure to be there. But I think there's potential for United to build out from the back. If that is the case, United should be able to move the ball a little bit higher up the pitch. The question is, how do you play from there? Well, knowing United, it will probably be quite chaotic. However, again, I would start Kobbie Mainoo and Sofian Amrabat to try and really prevent that. I think Kobbie Mainoo, we've seen already, is by far United's best player on the ball in terms of composure, temperament, reading of the game, slowing the game down. He controls the game better than any other United midfielder. However, when you put him in midfield by himself, again, it just leaves him with a little bit too much work to do. So again, let's get Sofian Amrabat next to him. Let's get the two of them playing together in the double pivot, and let's build possession in more of a 2-4 shape. We're going to push our wingers nice and high. We're going to push Rasmus Højlund nice and high, like this. And we're going to go for a 2-4-3-1 shape in possession. That is the plan here. Now, yes, initially it does appear as though Chelsea's marking shape and pressing shape is going to match up with that. But I think with players with temperament, there are ways to get around it. I also think there is the potential for United to create overloads here, because we can see United have 6 players in this possession structure. Chelsea only have 5 pressing players. So the idea basically is to build the ball down one side, and we're going to try and draw this far winger in. So let's say Wan-Bissaka's got the ball, Mudryk comes over. We're trying to draw Chelsea onto us like this, basically, in the hope that we can get the ball out to the other side to someone like Luke Shaw. Because if United can do that, suddenly we can move the ball forward and we can have this 2 versus 1 shape up against Reece James. Of course, also in this shape, there is always the potential to shift to more of a back 3. Can Lindelof split to the left? Maguire goes into the middle. Wan-Bissaka tucks round into a back three. Luke Shaw is now given the licence to go forward, meaning Garnacho can come inside. Now very quickly, with a couple of minor adjustments, we've now gone to a 3-2-4-1 shape, allowing United to keep those rotations, which Erik ten Hag loves, keeping the side nice and tactically fluid, but also making sure that we've got more players in deeper areas, once again, to try and control the ball. Let's get a double pivot, not a singular pivot. The double pivot should also allow United to defend better, particularly in transition. And this was something which Pochettino alluded to before the game, that this could be quite a transitional game at times. Having Mainoo and Amrabat, firstly, should make it less transitional because they should get their foot on the ball. But also, if we play with a double pivot, there's basically just more players there to cover ground on the counter-attack. So when United lose the ball in this position here with Bruno Fernandes, and the ball goes to Caicedo, rather than it just being Mainoo defending the whole midfield, let's put a player in alongside him. We know the likes of Garnacho and Antony are going to work hard. I think this starting 11 and this base shape gives United a lot of potential on the ball, but also off the ball as well. Ultimately, I do think it will be the confidence and the composure of the Manchester United players, as well as their temperament, more than the tactics. I think that will be the more important thing. United, of course, are under pressure at the moment. Ten Hag is under pressure. There's talks of the dressing room, everything surrounding the club at the moment. This is going to be a real test of the attitude of the players and how hard they really are fighting for Erik ten Hag right now. So I think that's probably more important than the tactical setup. However, just to cap off on it, I would start Sofian Amrabat and Mainoo. I think those two starting next to each other is a must to get the most from this, to get the most points basically possible against Chelsea, but also to see a good performance. You might comment on the lack of physicality because of no Scott McTominay. The Chelsea midfield isn't that tall and that strong, so I think you can get away with it. But I think what this double pivot does is it provides the extra player in the first phase. Like we said earlier, if they're both able to drop in, it provides extra triangles in the deeper phase, giving United more options to play up from the back, meaning we should see more of the ball. They're also the two players who want the most touches on the ball to slow the game down, so put them in a double pivot alongside each other, and you've actually got a chance at controlling tempo rather than just, pumping the ball forward constantly. So I think, again, that is something that United must do. I also think from a defensive point of view, having the double pivot in front of the defence improves that rest defence structure, and it stops United getting hit on the counter-attack so easily. So many teams this season have just kind of picked the ball up and driven through the heart of the team. Let's get a double pivot in the side, keeping Bruno Fernandes nice and high up the pitch in a centralised area, and I think you can really get something from this game. And I don't know why, I'm quite confident going into this. Like I said, I'm not really too sure why. Recently, I haven't particularly looked forward to United games, but this one has got me quite excited about it. Again, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's delusion. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you make of that starting 11 which I've come up with there? Do you think Mainoo and Sofian Amrabat should start together? Do you think they can start together? Do you think they will start together? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And also make sure to subscribe and get notifications on, because like I said, we will be live streaming this afternoon, talking more about this game and how United should set up and different things like that. So again, basically just get involved really. But apart from that, we are finished for today's video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.